Chapter 21. Lu Yunxian sneered. Nonsense. I've been chasing this beast through the forest for a long time. It forced me back when it was on the verge of death, which is why it escaped. All these injuries on it were caused by me. Do you think you can just take it with a few words? Shinemo glanced at the sword at Lu Yunxuan's waist, sensed the icy spiritual power flowing within him, and then looked at the knife wounds and fire burns on the beast. He fell silent. Ah, right. You've been chasing this beast for a long time. I made a mistake. This indeed belongs to senior brother Lu. He smiled and tossed the monster core over. Lu Yunxian caught the fist-sized third-rank monster core, nodded in satisfaction, and said, "You're a smart person." With that, he quickly walked away. Shinemo glanced at his life panel from a distance. Name: Lu Yunxian. Realm: Foundation Establishment. Great Accomplishment. Fate: Lucky Star, handsome and graceful, turning misfortune into fortune, smooth sailing, lesser in profound ice body. Destiny: Stopped at the peak of Core Formation. Realm: Serving as the Deputy Sect Master of the Divine Sword Sect. Died 59 years later during the Divine Sword Sect's external campaigns. Recent Opportunity 1. Today, while heading to Shishan City to meet the granddaughter of the Grand Elder of the Divine Sword Sect, he discovered Shinemo encountering a dying beast and forced Shinemo to hand over the third-rank monster. Recent Opportunity 2. 5 days later, while passing by the sword cliff of Qingxian Sect, he will experience a sudden downpour, and the movement of bamboo leaves will lead to an epiphany, comprehending the first level of the Thunder Shadow Sword technique. Recent Opportunity 3. 10 days. Later, while executing a task from Lu Yuanfeng to kill the striped tiger, he will discover a naturally formed underground ice lake, containing a supreme-grade profound treasure, the Profound Yin Ice Essence. After refining it, his physique will be enhanced, and he will reach the peak of the Foundation Establishment. Realm: Lucky Star. Orange Fate. Your luck is always excellent. Encountering dying beasts or randomly obtaining Earth-grade cultivation techniques and martial skills is just commonplace for you, handsome and graceful. Orange Fate. You are very handsome and always attract the attention of the opposite sex. Visiting the brothel, you not only get things for free but can also make money, turning misfortune into fortune. Orange Fate. Every time you encounter danger, you can turn it into an opportunity. Smooth sailing. Orange Fate. Your life is extremely smooth, rarely encountering setbacks, and you always end up on the winning side. Lesser in profound ice body. Orange Fate. Middle grade Earth physique. Your ice spiritual root talent is exceptional, and you cultivate ice attribute techniques and martial skills faster than others. After reading, Shinemo rubbed his chin thoughtfully. No wonder I didn't have an opportunity here. This opportunity was his, and I was just a background character in it. This guy's fate is quite different from Xiaofan's. Xiaofan's fates are all red, while his are all one level lower, all orange. But what's going on with him meeting the granddaughter of the Grand Elder of the Divine Sword Sect and eventually becoming an inner sect elder of the Divine Sword Sect? Shinemo thought about it and quickly figured it out. Either the Qingxian sect was destroyed, and Lu Yunxian joined the Divine Sword Sect, or Lu Yunxian betrayed the Qingxian sect and joined the Divine Sword Sect. He looks like a gentleman, but he's actually a traitor. Thinking about his third-rank monster core being taken, Shinemo added, "A greedy traitor." This small episode didn't anger him much. Although the third-rank monster core was precious, it was nothing compared to the Profound Yin Ice Essence. Since you took my third-rank monster core, I'll reluctantly take your Profound Yin Ice Essence. Shinemo snorted and continued towards the nameless valley. The process of killing the green forest python was not full of twists and turns. In fact, it was rather uneventful. The green forest python was only a second-rank Great Accomplishment beast, equivalent to a Qi Condensation Great Accomplishment cultivator. Shinemo, however, was at the peak of the Qi Condensation realm suppression, strength suppression. With just 3 strikes, he killed the green forest python. Then, Shinemo took out a small knife and cut open the python's belly, finding a section of blood-red tree heart. This was the supreme-grade profound treasure, the dragon blood tree heart. It contained immense and pure with spiritual energy. Shinamo took a water bag from his storage ring, washed off the mucus from the tree heart, and then held it contentedly. This can serve as one of the foundations for my Tao foundation. Shinamo nodded with satisfaction. Body refining and qi condensation realms were not very different as long as one had the right pills and practiced diligently. The only difference lay in the levels of techniques and martial skills, which determined the strength disparity. However, for a qi condensation peak cultivator to enter the foundation establishment realm, they needed to condense a Tao foundation within their spiritual power vortex. The quality of the Tao foundation marked the first significant divide among cultivators. Tao foundations are classified into ordinary, traceless, and perfect. By refining and absorbing 5 lower or middle grade profound treasures corresponding to the 5 elements, one can establish an ordinary Tao foundation. By refining 5 upper grade profound treasures of the corresponding 5 elements, one can establish a traceless Tao foundation. If one refines 5 supreme grade profound treasures of the corresponding 5 elements, one can establish the most powerful perfect Tao foundation. This step is where many qi condensation cultivators get stuck. Shinamo-side ordinary qi condensation cultivators couldn't intercept opportunities everywhere like him. Their only option was to save up spirit stones desperately to buy profound treasures to build their Tao foundations. But the price difference between lower grade and supreme grade profound treasures was enormous. A lower grade profound treasure usually required only 300 low-grade spirit stones, but a supreme grade profound treasure required 3,000 low-grade spirit stones. This disparity caused many to get stuck at this stage, not because of their lack of talent, but because of financial constraints. By the time they saved enough for the required materials, their prime years for cultivation would have quietly slipped away. Tao platform, also known as Tao foundation, is the root of the great Tao. Since I have such a golden finger, I must pursue the perfect Tao platform. Shinamo set a small goal. Before becoming a divine transformation realm powerhouse, he aimed to first forge a perfect Tao platform. Shinamo placed the dragon blood tree heart into his storage ring and then headed towards Ironwood Town. The bandits harassing Ironwood Town were relatively weak. Most of them were only at the minor or major accomplishment stage of the body tempering realm. Even the leader of the Black Wind Bandits was only at the peak of the body tempering realm. With such strength, Qingxian sect could sweep them away with just 1 or 2 disciples at the major accomplishment stage of the qi condensation realm. The reason why no one had taken action yet was simply due to the lack of money and too many affairs. 1 or 2 body tempering realm disciples couldn't handle the Black Wind Bandits. If more body tempering realm disciples were sent, there wouldn't be enough reward to go around. As for the qi condensation realm disciples, they had enough strength but didn't care for the meager reward of clearing out the Black Wind Bandits. Therefore, the Black Wind Bandits could rampage for a long time, making the surrounding ordinary people suffer greatly. Shinamo quickly slaughtered everyone in the Black Wind Bandits. Then, he went straight to the treasure vault of the Black Wind Bandits to search. Before long, he found his target: half of a calligraphy scroll. The scroll was rolled up. Shinamo carefully opened it. There was only one word on it: forest. It was written very carelessly, like wild grass swaying in the wind. Is this an earth-grade spiritual weapon? It doesn't seem very impressive. Shinamo tried to refine it with a drop of blood, but there was no response. Then, he injected spiritual power into the scroll. The scroll started to vibrate. Shinamo suddenly felt a pang of fear and quickly turned his head aside. Whoosh! A sharp sword aura suddenly shot out from the scroll, slicing the hard rock wall behind Shinamo into 2. The cut surface was incredibly smooth, as if cutting through snow. Shinmo's eyes widened. If he hadn't turned his head just now, his head might have been split in 2. This strike definitely has the power of the foundation establishment realm. Shinamo was overjoyed and immediately put it away. Now he understood why this item was called the Forest Sword Art. Chapter 22. Leaving Black Wind Stronghold and passing by Ironwood Town, Shinamo saw the townspeople shivering at the entrance, next to several ox carts. The ox carts were piled high with various goods. There was grain, dried meat, and valuables. These were all the hard-earned savings of the townspeople at this moment. Some parents were tearfully bidding farewell to their daughters, as if they were sending them into a fire pit from which they would never return. Shin Mo's dark green disciple robe was quite eye-catching, immediately drawing the attention of many townspeople. An elderly man, leaning on a cane, hobbled over in a hurry. His frail appearance made Shin Mo feel as though he might fall apart at any moment. The old man urgently asked, "I'm immortal. Are you a disciple of the Qingxian sect?" Shin Mo nodded slightly with a thud. The old man knelt before Shin Mo. "Please, immortal, save our Ironwood town. The Black Wind stronghold bandits have been ravaging us for years, yet no one from Qingxian sect has come to purge them. We can no longer provide food for the bandits of Black Wind stronghold. If this continues, people in the town will starve to death." As the old man finished speaking, the emaciated townspeople behind him also knelt down with a thud. Each one was sobbing uncontrollably. It was clear they had suffered enough from the bandits' harassment. Shin Mo's heart tightened. No matter the world, the ones who suffer the most are always the common folk. The bandits of Black Wind stronghold were easy for him to deal with, but these bandits had inflicted long-lasting harm on the people of Ironwood town. They had torn families apart and ruined lives. A young man rushed over, trying to pull the old man up. "Grandpa, don't kneel to him. Black Wind stronghold has been entrenched for 6 years, and we've never seen anyone from Qingxian sect come to clear them out. Why kneel to him?" The young man glared fiercely at Shin Mo. Shin Mo helped the old man up. He did not blame the young man. If he were in the young man's shoes, he would be just as angry. Shin Mo said loudly, "Black Wind stronghold is no more. You can all rest easy." The old man was stunned, and the townspeople were also shocked. The old man exclaimed, "Really? Immortal, did you really destroy Black Wind stronghold?" At that moment, Shin Mo waved his hand and left. "The warehouse in Black Wind stronghold is full of food. Help yourselves." He had more important matters to attend to. The young man watched Shin Mo's swiftly disappearing figure and snorted, "Impossible, he's just boasting. How could one person destroy so many bandits at Black Wind stronghold?" The old man, both astonished and doubtful, said, "We'll see if it's true. A few young men. Go check out Black Wind stronghold." The young man raised his hand. "I'll go." Soon, 5 men volunteered. The 5 ran to Black Wind stronghold. When they returned, their eyes were red. "Grandpa, Black Wind stronghold has truly been destroyed." The young man was the first to return, filled with joy. The old man's eyes welled up with tears. He knelt tremblingly in the direction Shin Mo had left, prostrating himself. Using all his strength, he shouted, "Thank you, immortal." Behind him, the people of Ironwood town also knelt from the bottom of their hearts. "Thank you, immortal." The young man, too, knelt with the others, feeling deeply ashamed of his previous words. At this moment, Shin Mo had already returned to the Qingxian sect. "The wood foundation is in place. Now I need the other 4 elements." He nodded slightly. The fiery sun-flowing fire essence he had obtained earlier was a heaven-grade treasure and had already fused with his body, making it unsuitable as a foundation for his Tao platform. It's time to cultivate, to break through to the peak of the Qi condensation realm as soon as possible. In the Qi condensation realm, I will be invincible. Shin Mo sat down cross-legged, following the flame-held destruction manual to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. As for pills, he still had dozens of Qi condensation pills given to him by Morongyu in his storage ring. Even if he consumed the Qi condensation pills like beans, he could reach the peak of the Qi condensation realm with such diligent and hardworking cultivation. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. In 3 days, he consumed 10 bottles of Qi condensation pills, a total of 30 pills with such rigorous and diligent cultivation. His realm immediately broke through to the peak of the Qi condensation realm effortlessly. Shin Mo opened his eyes, feeling the immense aura surging from within him, and felt a surge of joy. It's time to submit my tasks to the mission pavilion. Every task had a deadline, with a maximum of 7 days. If a task wasn't completed within 7 days, not only would there be no reward, but there would also be consequences. Although Shinemo didn't really need the rewards from these two tasks, he didn't want to face any repercussions either. At the task pavilion, Shinemo once again arrived there. He was greeted by the same round-faced girl who liked to doze off. He tapped the table lightly. "Senior Sister Deacon, I'm here to submit my tasks." As he spoke, he took out 2 tokens. Submitting tasks required tokens as proof. It couldn't be done by mere words alone. The token for killing the green forest python was its green fang, which was hard to forge and could only be extracted from the python's mouth. The token for clearing out Black Wind Stronghold was the stronghold's flag. The round-faced girl nodded sleepily and handed the rewards to Shinemo. Shinemo took the spirit stones and left the task pavilion, ready to intercept Lu Yunchuan's opportunity for the Shen-Yin Ice Marrow. At that moment, he noticed the martial arts field was crowded with disciples. Moreover, there were few outer disciples. Most of them were inner disciples. They were noisily discussing something high above. There was an elderly woman in a green and white robe, who seemed to be an inner sect elder in charge of supervision. Shinemo found her somewhat familiar. It seemed that she was the one who had been responsible for investigating when his previous self had been poisoned. Shinemo didn't know what was happening, so he casually pulled aside a disciple to inquire about the situation. The disciple was initially impatient, but, upon seeing it was Shinemo, quickly recognized him as the newly promoted inner disciple who had recently defeated Lei Xiaojun in a public duel. His attitude softened immediately, and he hurriedly replied, "The 4 true disciples are recruiting inner disciples." Shinemo frowned. "How come I didn't hear about this?" The disciple scratched his head. "This was announced 2 days ago. The 4 true disciples would be personally present, and any inner disciple joining them would receive chi condensation pills, mid-grade spirit stones, and other rewards. That's why so many disciples have gathered." Shinemo suddenly understood. He had been refining the heart of the dragon blood tree for the past 3 days, so he was unaware of the outside developments. However, the open recruitment of inner disciples by the 4 true disciples would likely exacerbate the factional divisions within Qingxian sect. Why would Morongyu agree to this? Shinemo shook his head, uninterested in getting involved in these matters, and was about to leave. However, he had barely taken a few steps when 2 female disciples' eyes lit up and they blocked his way. "Junior brother, you must be the one who defeated Lei Xiaojun recently." "Shinemo, right?" The girl on the left smiled. Shinemo shook his head. "You've got the wrong person. My name is Zhang Ida." The smile on the girl's face froze. The girl on the right gave an awkward smile. "Junior brother Shin, there's no need for that. I recognize you." Shinemo frowned. "What do you want?" The girl on the right quickly said, "Naturally, we're inviting you to join Senior Brother Song Junjia's faction. Our Senior Brother Song's father is Grand Elder Song Chufeng. He has amazing potential and great strength. Having already achieved minor achievement in the Foundation Establishment realm, he will certainly become a core formation realm cultivator in the future. Junior Brother Shin, your strength is remarkable. If you're willing to join Senior Brother Song's faction, you'll receive 3 chi condensation pills and a mid-grade spirit stone for free. What do you think?" Shinemo remained silent. Anger flared within him. They wanted him to be a subordinate and were offering such meager rewards. It was truly insulting. Shinemo naturally looked down on these offerings, not to mention he still had dozens of bottles of chi condensation pills given to him by Murongyu in his storage ring. It was laughable. He couldn't possibly use them all. Chapter 23. No need. Shinemo waved his hand, uninterested in entangling with them, and was about to leave. The faces of the 2 female disciples grew even stiffer. The girl on the left was particularly annoyed, pointing at Shinmo's nose and scolding him. "Shinemo, don't be ungrateful. We are only inviting you because of your strength to join Senior Brother Song's faction. Being invited by us is an honor for you. Don't fail to appreciate it." Shinemo sneered. He detested people like this the most, arrogant and self-important. However, he couldn't be bothered to argue with such people, so, without saying more, he chose to leave. At this moment, a loud laugh slowly echoed. "Junior Brother Shin? I've heard your name. Defeating Lei Xiaojun head-on, you have some strength. Why not join my faction?" Shinemo turned around and saw a tall, upright young man. This person, like Lu Yunxian, put on the airs of a refined gentleman. However, his appearance was noticeably inferior to Lu Yunchuan's. His actions and tone seemed to be deliberately imitating Lu Yunxian. Rather clumsily, Shen Emo knew the names of the 4 true disciples of Qixian's sect. This person's surname was Song, so he was naturally Song Junjie. Ranked second among the 4 true disciples, Shen Emo was about to speak when another dull voice rang out nearby. "Are you Shen Emo? My sister often mentions you. Why not join my faction under Zhao Ting? Joining Song Junjie's weak faction will only dull your skills and ambitions." Shen Emo looked towards the voice and saw a tall, muscular young man with bulging muscles. His loose dark green disciple robe was worn like tight-fitting clothing. Zhao Ting, a member of the Zhao family from Gufeng City. Shen Emo raised an eyebrow. So, this person was Zhao Rou's brother. Zhao Rou was standing beside Zhao Ting at that moment. Upon hearing Zhao Ting's words, her pretty face turned red, and she pinched her brother's waist hard. Song Junjie raised an eyebrow. "Zhao Ting, speak properly. Don't resort to verbal attacks, or you'll face the consequences. I'm not someone to be trifled with." Zhao Ting sneered. "Say that again when you can beat me." The simultaneous comments from Song Junjie and Zhao Ting immediately drew the attention of many inner disciples. These inner disciples looked at Shen Emo, recalling the remarkable achievements of this fierce new inner disciple from not long ago, Lu Yunxian. Along with another true disciple, Luo Xingnan, also looked over. Lu Yunxian recognized Shen Emo, frowning slightly. 3 days ago, when he went to Xishan City, he had inadvertently encountered an inner disciple who had obtained a demon crystal. He had ordered the disciple to hand over the demon crystal. Unexpectedly, that person turned out to be Shen Emo. His father, Lu Yuanfeng, had mentioned this name to him in secret. The person father mentioned is actually him. Jealousy flickered in his eyes. Even though Murongyu ordered silence on the matter, Lu Yuanfeng still told him about Shen Emo awakening a heaven-grade physique. Therefore, Lu Yunxian was genuinely envious. He had only awakened a low-grade earth physique. This person, however, had an upper-grade heaven physique. Barring any accidents, Shen Mo's future achievements would far surpass his own. Luo Shenan, meanwhile, looked Shen Emo up and down, then dismissed him with a curl of her lip. "This guy is so effeminate. He's useless. I don't want someone like him." She licked her lips, eyeing Zhao Ting's back. "It's a pity Zhao Ting is a true disciple, otherwise I'd pick him first." She sighed and continued to pick other inner disciples for her faction. Luo Shenan was a woman, but her bulging muscles and broad frame made her more manly than many men. Thus, the inner disciples she recruited were all brawny types. Shen Mo, with his handsome appearance and well-proportioned build, was not in her selection criteria. However, despite this, the sudden competition between 2 true disciples for 1 inner disciple attracted the attention of most people in the martial arts field. Everyone wanted to see how this situation would unfold. After all, joining Song Junjie's faction would offend Zhao Ting. Joining Zhao Ting's faction would offend Song Junjie. It was a dilemma. Xiao Fan and Lu Fei were also in the crowd. Seeing this scene, Xiao Fan couldn't help but sneer. He knew Shen Mo was already a disciple of the sect master, so he definitely wouldn't join any faction. This matter had blown up and would not end well. Shen Mo rubbed his temples. "What did I do to deserve this? I'm just passing by. I don't want to join anyone's faction right now," Shen Mo said in a deep voice. "Goodbye." With that, he turned and walked away. "As a disciple of the sect master, my beautiful master naturally provides me with all sorts of resources. Additionally, I can go out and seize even better opportunities on my own. There's no need to join any true disciple's faction and be treated like a lackey." After Shen Mo said this, the reactions of the disciples varied. Some shook their heads, some clicked their tongues and gave thumbs up, while others crossed their arms and sneered. Most of them had a look of watching a show. Choosing one side would offend the other. If you tried to stay neutral, you would end up offending both sides. Zhao Ting snorted. "You. Ow." Before he could finish, Zhao Rou pinched the soft flesh at his waist. Song Junjie's eyebrows raised, refusing to give Mephis? "In this public setting, rejecting me outright, isn't that a slap to my face?" Shen Mo met his gaze without fear. Even though Song Junjie was a whole realm above him, a foundation establishment cultivator, Shen Mo was not afraid. "I am the sect master's disciple, and this is the sect's grounds. What can you do to me?" Song Junjie's gaze turned colder. "Stop." Shen Mo ignored him and continued walking out. "I told you to stop." Song Junjie shouted, stomping the ground and launching himself like an arrow, his fist aimed directly at Shen Mo's back. "Qinxian sect rules, no fighting within the sect grounds. Violators will be punished." An old voice sounded, the spiritual energy in the air fluctuated for a moment, then Song Junjia's charging figure stiffened. It was as if he was bound by an irresistible force, veins bulged on his forehead, his face turned red. And he barely managed to squeeze out a few words, elderly. The disciples instinctively looked up towards the elderly woman in the green and white robe, feeling a sense of awe. She was an inner sect elder, a core formation stage powerhouse. Elderly didn't even need to move. A mere flick of her finger could manipulate the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to restrain lower-level cultivators. Song Junjia, considering you are a true disciple, you are exempt from punishment. Go to the sword cliff and reflect on your actions. The elderly woman said. Indifferently, Song Junjia clenched his fists tightly, but in the end, he could only lower his head, yes. Even as a true disciple, he couldn't go against an inner sect elder. If he did, the punishment would be even more severe. If his father's enemies got wind of this, the most severe consequence could even be losing his true disciple status. Step by step, Song Junjia left the martial arts field with a face full of humiliation. The disciples looked on in astonishment. Why would elderly side with Shin Mo? Even if a true disciple attacked someone, most inner sect elders would turn a blind eye. Moreover, Song Junjia's father was Grand Elder Song Chaofeng. Shin Mo was also surprised, and he couldn't help but glance at the elderly woman. Elderly looked at him and nodded slightly. Shin Mo immediately understood. This elderly was on Murong Yu's side. His heart warmed instantly. Having a powerful backer is great. He bowed from a distance. Thank you, elderly, for upholding justice. Qinxian's sect should indeed be fair and just. Elderly nodded and said nothing more. Shin Mo also left the martial arts field without lingering. He had many things to do. There was no need to waste time here. After Shin Mo left, the martial arts field gradually became lively again. However, the disciples were all discussing what had just happened. Was elderly Shin Mo's backer? Would elderly really risk offending Grand Elder Song Chaofeng for Shin Mo? Such gossip was the most tantalizing. Lu Yunxian, being in the know, naturally understood why elderly would help Shin Mo. He snorted coldly. If Song Junjia's punch had landed, Shin Mo would have been severely injured. If Song Junjia were even more ruthless, he might have severely damaged Shin Mo's foundation, possibly even destroying his heavenly-grade physique. What a pity. Chapter 24. Shin Mo left the martial arts arena, his mind filled with the life panel he had just seen. Name: Song Junjia Realm. Entry-level foundation establishment fate. Astonishing luck. Handsome appearance. Dual sword and blade mastery. Wind and thunder sword and blade body destiny. Stops at the great achievement in the core formation realm. Serves as an inner elder at the divine sword sect. 56 years later, while seeking breakthroughs, he dies from an ambush by an elder from a rival sect. Recent. Opportunity 1. Attempted to recruit Shin Mo to his faction at the martial arts arena today but was rejected, leading to anger and an impulsive attack. Eventually stopped by an inner elder, he was punished to meditate on Sword Cliff, where he unexpectedly gained insights and advanced to the 3rd level of the Gale Sword technique. Recent opportunity 2. 3 days after punishment, left the sect to vent his anger in the Qingsong Mountains. Accidentally discovered a corpse in the Tiger King's cave. In the fierce tiger forest, the corpse had a low-grade storage ring containing a superior-grade, profound-grade treasure, tiger gold, which can be used as the metal element in foundation. Tiger gold, a superior-grade, profound-grade treasure. Clearly a precious metal attribute item. Shin Mo smiled. If he hadn't clashed with Song Junjia today, he would have missed this opportunity. This item was perfect for crafting his ideal Dao foundation with a metal element. However, judging by his destiny, he is also quite the traitor. Shin Mo sneered. I should first head to the underground ice lake, then to the fierce tiger forest, conveniently in a straight line. I truly am a genius at planning my time. Shin Mo quickly left the sect, heading straight for the underground ice lake. The underground ice lake was extremely secretive. If it weren't for Lu Yuanfeng accidentally discovering it, no one would have found it when Shin Mo arrived. No one had been there yet. The cold here repelled many beasts. However, Shin Mo was well prepared. He had purchased some warming pills from the treasure pavilion of the Qingxian sect. Warming pills, like breath-holding pills, were low-grade yellow-level pills. And easy to obtain, their effect was simple, just holding them under the tongue continuously provided warmth. This way he wouldn't be frozen by the cold of the ice lake. Thus, he easily obtained the profound in ice marrow at the bottom of the lake. After placing the profound in-ice marrow into his storage ring, Shin Emo hurried towards the fierce tiger forest. The fierce tiger forest was also located within the Qingsong Mountains. But this forest was not exclusively for Qingxian sect disciples. Many itinerant cultivators were present as well. This was understandable. Although the Qingxian sect was nominally the master of the Qingsong Mountains, the range was too vast to be completely controlled by the sect. There were always corners that the Qingxian sect could not reach. These places became havens for itinerant cultivators. Some Qingxian sect disciples were even robbed and killed by these cultivators. Hence, the previous sect leader stepped forward. He knew well that the Qingxian sect could not fully control the Qingsong Mountains nor expel all the itinerant cultivators. So, he decided to open certain areas to them. This maintained stability in the Qingsong Mountains. Since then, the Qingxian sect has opened parts of the Qingsong Mountains to itinerant cultivators. The condition was that they could not attack Qingxian sect disciples. Thus, the cultivators had a way to make a living and wouldn't risk attacking the sect's disciples. The fierce tiger forest was one of these open areas. This forest covered a large area filled with fierce tigers, hence the name. Tigers were valuable. Tiger skin, bones, meat, blood, and even genitals could fetch a good price. So, many itinerant cultivators came to the fierce tiger forest to hunt tigers. Additionally, the forest produced several precious herbs. The Qingxian sect purchased these herbs at high prices. These herbs were treasures sought after by itinerant cultivators. When Shinemo arrived at the entrance of the fierce tiger forest, it was bustling, forming a small market. It was filled with cultivators coming and going. There were even outer and inner disciples of the Qingxian sect among them. The market was noisy with shouts and sales pitches. However, most of the goods were fake, meant to swindle money. Shinemo walked through the crowd with great interest. Looking around, to his left, a stall owner shouted, "Fellow Taoists, pay attention. 3 golden python eggs. They will at least grow to the 3rd rank. Don't miss this chance. Only 100 medium-grade spirit stones for all 3. On the ground in front of him were 3 large, yellowish eggs that looked quite impressive. A cultivator passed by and asked, "Can you lower the price?" "Of course." 100 low-grade spirit stones. Deal. Pay up quickly." The cultivator immediately showed a look of regret. "Seems like I still lost out." Laughter erupted around them. Shinemo walked briskly through the small market and arrived at the entrance of the fierce tiger forest. This was the gathering spot for forming teams. Some cultivators, feeling their strength was insufficient, would form teams. Some would team up with acquaintances. Some, being alone, would have to temporarily team up with strangers. This was very risky. If there were no gains, it would be fine, but if the gains were significant, well, it might even include oneself as part of someone else's gains. As soon as Shinemo arrived, a beautiful woman's eyes lit up. She swayed her hips like a snake as she quickly walked towards him. "Little brother, I am Shiyen. Would you like to team up and do a task together?" She then whispered softly in a voice only the 2 of them could hear. "I know a secret location with tiger gold. We can split the loot 50-50. She deliberately moved very close, even pressing her soft chest against Shun Mo's arm. Shinemo frowned slightly. The pair of cushions in front of her were indeed large, but anyone who came on so strong definitely had bad intentions. He instinctively glanced at her life panel name. Wulan Realm. Perfection in Qi Condensation Realm Fate. Astonishing luck, venomous woman, loves poison, naturally toxic body destiny. Stops at the Perfection in Foundation Establishment Realm 16 years later. Uses her old tricks to harm a disciple of the Thunderfire sect, angering the Grand Elder. Several core formation realm elders chase and finally kill her mercilessly. Recent opportunity 1. Today, deceives an ignorant cultivator into teaming up to explore the fierce tiger forest, takes advantage of a moment of inattention to launch a sneak attack, kills him and gains 3 medium-grade spirit stones and 2 high-grade yellow-level weapons. Recent opportunity 2. 1 month later, tries to deceive Qixuan sect's true disciple Zhao Ting, gets chased by Zhao Ting. falls into an underground cave but luckily finds a superior grade profound grade treasure, earth vein marrow, and refines it to reach the peak of chi condensation realm. Shinmo's eyes flickered. What a cunning woman. She called herself Shi Yen. But her real name was Wulan. Her usual work seemed to involve deceiving ignorant cultivators into teaming up and then killing them. Her end was tragic though, angering the Thunderfire sect and dying miserably. However, the earth vein marrow was a valuable item. It would be perfect for his Earth Foundation, no team-ups. Shin-emo flatly refused and walked past her straight into the fierce tiger forest. Wulan pouted. He seemed smart and not easily swayed by lust. Smart men were hard to deceive, and those not easily swayed by lust were also hard to deceive. She couldn't be bothered to waste any more time and turned to look for those easily controlled by their lower halves. Soon, she found her target, a young man who looked naive and inexperienced, followed by 3 mature-looking middle-aged warriors. One glance was enough to see that he was the type of family disciple nurtured from a young age and just recently started traveling. Young master, you look like a family disciple. I am Song Li. How may I address you, and what brings you to the fierce tiger forest? Wulan swayed her hips as she approached the young man. The young man, never having seen such enthusiasm, was immediately captivated and confessed, I am Luo Fei, from the Luo family of ancient Wind City. I am here to hunt the Tiger King. These 3 are the warriors I hired. Wulan discreetly sized up the 3 men and chuckled. The Tiger King? I know about it. Why don't we team up? Great. Thank you so much. Luo Fei responded with a joyful smile. Chapter 25. Damn, this fierce tiger forest is really winding. Shin-emo kicked away a fierce tiger bleeding from all its orifices and scratched his head. He had been searching for a long time but still hadn't found the Tiger King's cave mentioned in the life panel. Along the way, he encountered a few itinerant cultivators. He wanted to ask them about the location of the Tiger King's cave, however, they quickly avoided him, showing a high level of vigilance. Thus, Shin-emo wandered around the fierce tiger forest. Apart from killing a few fierce tigers and some hard-skinned wild boars, he found nothing. Such a powerful tiger roar. Shinmo's ears twitched as he heard an astonishing roar coming from the southeast. This roar was completely different from the fierce tigers he had killed earlier. It exuded the majesty and ferocity of the king of beasts. Clearly, it was undoubtedly the Tiger King. Shin-emo quickly headed in that direction. On the other side, in front of the Tiger King's cave, Luo Fei watched in horror as the Tiger King bit off the upper bodies of the 2 warriors he had recruited, spraying him with blood. He was stunned. He hadn't expected the outside world to be so dangerous, nor had he expected the woman who led them here to disappear immediately. Although he had no experience traveling outside, he understood now he had been set up. Young Master Luo, run quickly. This Tiger King is too fierce. We are no match for it. Another warrior cursed as he dodged the Tiger King's claws, shouting. As soon as he finished speaking, the Tiger King's sharp claws slashed across his neck. In an instant, his head was separated from his body. Luo Fei stood frozen in place, his legs feeling like they were made of lead, unable to move. He smiled bitterly. The Tiger King's bloodthirsty jaws were already opening towards him. The foul stench hit his face. Scenes of him with his father and sister flashed quickly through his mind. If I hadn't sneaked out from home. If I hadn't wanted to kill the Tiger King to gather materials to treat my father's illness, I wouldn't be dying now. At that moment, a blinding flash of sword light, like lightning, streaked across the sky. With a splashing sound, a spray of hot blood erupted from the Tiger King's body, drenching the ground around it. The Tiger King let out a miserable cry and immediately retreated. It looked at its attacker with anger and astonishment. Luo Fei, as if revived from despair, looked at the young man who had suddenly appeared. He stood tall, wearing a dark green robe, his face sharp and handsome. I've been looking for you for a long time, and here you are. Shin-emo sneered and activated his Thunder Shadow Sword technique, charging again before coming. He had investigated that the Tiger King was only a second-tier beast, equivalent to a cultivator at the peak of the Chi Condensation Realm. Shin-emo, now at the peak of the Chi Condensation Realm, found it easy to deal with such a beast. That first sword strike almost killed the Tiger King instantly. However, the Tiger King had instinctively avoided a fatal hit, thus preventing an instant kill. Clang, clang, clang. Shin-emo struck 3 more times. Each strike was as swift and fierce as lightning, targeting vital points. The Tiger King initially resisted, but as its vital points were continuously injured and blood gushed out, it grew weaker. In the end, it roared angrily and pushed Shinemo back, trying to escape. But Shinemo wouldn't give it a chance to flee. With the fourth strike, he pierced its heart, shattering it. The Tiger King let out a final, desperate cry and collapsed. Shinemo cautiously delivered a few more strikes to ensure its death. Then sheathed his sword. His formidable skills left Luo Fei dumbfounded. So many warriors had attacked the Tiger King but barely harmed it. Yet he, alone, took it down with just 4 strikes? I've seen strong people before, but never anyone this strong. Luo Fei snapped back to reality and quickly called out, "Benefactor, could you sell me the Tiger King's bones? I'm willing to pay double." Shinemo glanced at him. "Why should I sell them to you?" Luo Fei hurriedly explained, "My name is Luo Fei, from the Luo family of Goofing City. My father, injured in a battle, is now critically ill. My sister is working hard at Qingxian sect to gather spirit stones. I felt I should do something too, so I came out to find the Tiger King and extract its bones." His tone was very sincere. "The Tiger King's bones are a crucial ingredient for the medicine. If I miss this, it will be hard to find another Tiger King. Name your price." Luo Fei's eyes reddened. "You are also a disciple of Qingxian sect. If I don't have enough spirit stones, I will take you to my sister at Qingxian sect." Shinemo frowned. This kid is truly naive. Who reveals their bottom line right away? If it were someone else, they would have extorted a sky-high price for the Tiger King's bones. A second-tier perfected beast's body parts usually require 150 low-grade spirit stones. It's the Tiger King, so the price should be higher. Give me 200 low-grade spirit stones. Shinemo waved his hand. That amount of spirit stones was nothing to him now, but he wouldn't give away the Tiger King's bones for free. He wasn't some self-sacrificing saint. 200 spirit stones. Luo Fei stammered, feeling embarrassed. "I only have 100 on me. I was swindled out of many along the way. But my sister definitely has money. She wears the same green disciple robe as you." "Oh? What's your sister's name?" Shinemo asked casually. "Luo Shengnan. Benefactor, do you know my sister?" Luo Fei asked excitedly. Shinemo sighed. "I've met her. It's hard to imagine that such a robust woman like Luo Shengnan has such a naive and simple-minded brother. Wait here later. You will come back to Qingxian sect with me," Shinemo instructed, storing the Tiger King's corpse in his storage ring. "Okay." Luo Fei nodded vigorously. Shinemo entered the Tiger King's cave and soon found a corpse with a blurred face. He found a storage ring under the corpse. Inside, there was indeed a fist-sized piece of tiger gold. Shinemo put the items away and walked out of the cave. "Let's go. Time to find your sister." After the two left, Wulan emerged from her hiding place, her eyes full of shock. "Luckily, I didn't team up with that Qingxian sect disciple. That guy is too strong. I need to be more careful when deceiving people next time." Wulan Shiyan searched the bodies but found nothing valuable. Leaving in frustration. On the other side, Shinemo and Luo Fei had arrived at the Qingxian sect's gate at this time. The recruitment activity of the 4 true disciples for inner disciples at the martial arts arena had ended. Shinemo found Luo Shengnan and brought Luo Fei to her, handing over the Tiger King's corpse as well. Luo Fei burst into tears on the spot. After explaining everything, Luo Shengnan looked gratefully at Shinemo. "Thank you so much. I've heard about this Tiger King. I searched for it several times but never found it. You took it down in just a few strikes. I used to think you looked thin and weak, but you're actually very strong." Luo Shengnan patted Shinmo's shoulder. Shinmo's shoulder sank under the weight, and he gasped. Luo Shengnan laughed heartily. "I have a lot of strength and sometimes can't control it, but still, thank you very much. I'll take the whole Tiger King's body for 100 low-grade spirit stones. How about that?" "That's fine." Shinemo nodded. Luo Shengnan handed over 4 medium-grade spirit stones. After settling the matter, Shinemo immediately left. Luo Fei looked at his departing figure with admiration. "Sister, can I become like Brother Shin in the future?" Luo Shengnan was puzzled. "Why do you want to be like him? Isn't your sister strong enough?" Luo Fei looked at his muscular sister and shook his head like a rattle. Strength doesn't matter. I like using a sword, it's cool. Luo Shenan's face stiffened. She raised her palm, as large as a fan. Seems I've been away from home too long. You're getting too bold. Luo Fei cried out, sister, no? Chapter 26. Night, Shen Emo sat cross-legged on his bed, ready to cultivate. Once again, there was a knock on the door. He opened the door to find Zhao Ro, her waist slender and strong. Zhao Ro smiled sweetly. Senior brother Shen, the sect master, is calling for you. Shen Emo nodded. Soon, under the night sky, he arrived at the courtyard atop the mountain, once again meeting his voluptuous and beautiful master. Murungyu was by the pool, throwing fish food into the water. The goldfish leaped out of the water, scrambling for the food, resembling human greed. Tonight, Murungyu wore a tight-fitting, fiery red palace dress that accentuated her figure. However, her brows were furrowed, indicating some worries. Seeing Shen Emo arrive, her expression softened. Slightly, disciple, how is your cultivation progressing? Murungyu asked with a smile. Shen Emo cupped his hands. Master, I have broken through to the peak of the Qi condensation realm. There was no need to hide this from Murungyu. He knew very well that his fate was closely tied to Murungyu. If he could show unparalleled potential and an astonishing cultivation speed, Murungyu would only grow fonder and more concerned about him. Only in this way would he become increasingly safe. Sure enough, upon hearing his words, Murungyu's face showed a hint of surprise. What did you say? The peak of the Qi condensation realm? But I remember a few days ago you were only at the great success stage of the Qi condensation realm. Shenmo's words were so shocking that Murungyu accidentally dropped the fish food into the pool with a splash. The goldfish swarmed from all directions, fighting for the food. Murungyu, however, ignored the food and quickly walked up to Shen Emo. She extended her arm and pressed it against Shenmo's lower abdomen. Shen Emo stiffened all over. If he hadn't realized that she was checking his realm by sensing the spiritual energy vortex in his lower abdomen, he might have drawn his sword in. Response, just like a boy's lower abdomen isn't something to touch casually. It feels rather comfortable. He felt a stream of spiritual energy from Murungyu's right hand enter his lower abdomen. The spiritual energy was strange, both warm and cold, possessing dual attributes. Shen Emo tried hard to suppress any sound, but a few unintelligible syllables still escaped his mouth. Murungyu looked at him with a puzzled expression, then continued to examine the spiritual energy vortex. After a few dozen breaths, she finally confirmed it. Shen Mo's spiritual energy vortex had grown to an impressive size. It even far exceeded the size typical of a peak Qi condensation realm cultivator. Indeed, very large. Murungyu nodded with joy. You have reached the peak of the Qi condensation realm. Shen Mo's breakthrough was the only good news she had heard in recent days. You aren't cultivating the blazing fire manual, are you? Murungyu suddenly asked. Shen Emo nodded directly. With Murungyu's cultivation level, she would certainly be able to see through it during such an examination. He had already prepared a lie, however. Just as he was about to speak, Murungyu waved her hand. Everyone has their own little secrets. I won't pry. Shen Emo felt moved. What a considerate woman. How can she be so understanding? The reason I called you today, besides examining your cultivation progress, is to discuss the foundation for your Tao foundation. Murungyu said casually, do you know how to build a Tao foundation? I do. Murungyu nodded. I will give you two choices. With that, she gently waved her jade-like hand in her left palm. Four crystals of different colors appeared. These 4 crystals each contain pure spiritual energy of water, wood, earth, and metal attributes. They are high-grade, profound-grade items and can serve as the foundation for your Tao foundation. You are my disciple, so I will give you these 4 crystals. You will need to find the last foundation on your own, as I can't help you with everything. With these 5 high-grade, profound-grade treasures, you can build a flawless Tao foundation, surpassing those who build ordinary ones. She paused. The second choice. Murungyu extended her right hand, revealing a black crystal emitting intense heat. I once obtained a piece of dark flame crystal by chance. This is a superior grade, profound grade treasure, condensed from the body of a beast known as the dark flame lion. It can serve as the fire foundation for building a perfect Tao foundation. But I can only provide you with this dark flame crystal. The other 4 superior grade profound grade treasures must be sought and obtained by you. Morongyu looked into Shinmo's eyes and said calmly, "These are your choices. You can only choose one. Now make your choice." Shinmo's expression was one of delight at present. He already possessed the Gold Foundation Tiger Gold, the Wood Foundation Dragon Blood Tree Heart, and the Water Foundation Profound Een Ice Marrow. He also had leads on the Earth Foundation Earth Vein Marrow. The only thing missing was a Fire Foundation. He had been worrying about where to find this opportunity, but his beautiful master had delivered it directly to him. "Master, I choose the Dark Flame Crystal," Shinemo said without hesitation. Morongyu was quite surprised. The first choice required finding just one more high-grade profound grade fire attribute treasure to begin building a flawless Dao foundation. She had expected Shinemo to choose this option unexpectedly. He chose the Dark Flame Crystal without hesitation. "This guy is just like me when I was young, ambitious, and aiming high," Morongyu thought with amusement. "Never mind. I'll let him be. When he struggles for years to find the superior grade profound grade treasures without success, he will naturally come to me for those 4 high-grade profound grade treasures. A promise made is a promise kept," as the sect master. She would not go back on her word after Shinemo made his choice. Morongyu handed the dark flame crystal to him. Morongyu seemed in a very good mood, pacing back and forth with a spring in her step. "What grudge do you have with the Lei family from Qingshan City?" Shinmo's heart tightened, and he truthfully recounted how Lei Xiongjie and Lei Yong had persecuted him. Omitting the fact that he had killed them, Morongyu's gaze turned cold. "Bullying weak disciples. This issue never ceases." She exhaled lightly. "The Lei family came yesterday to file a complaint, claiming Lei Xiongjie went missing on his way home and suspecting you of killing him. I have already dismissed this complaint. There are people in Qingshan City who will look out for you. Even if the Lei family suspects, they won't dare to harm you or your father. Rest assured and continue your cultivation." Shinemo cupped his hands and bowed deeply. "Thank you, master." He had anticipated this outcome. By demonstrating potential and strength, he ensured Morongyu's absolute protection. "Go back. If there's an urgent matter, come find me." Morongyu waved her hand. "Yes, disciple will take his leave." Shinemo stepped back and left. As he departed, he heard Morongyu humming an unfamiliar tune, clearly in a good mood upon learning of her disciple's rapid progress in cultivation. Shinemo left the mountaintop courtyard and exited the sect during the night, heading to intercept Shi Yan's opportunity. Shi Yan was a person who lived by deceiving, stealing, and killing. Snatching such a person's opportunity gave Shinemo peace of mind and satisfaction. Finding the earth vein marrow wasn't difficult. Within 2 hours, Shinemo returned to the mountains with the earth vein marrow without any trouble. When he sat back down on his bed, his face was full of anticipation. Gold Foundation, Tiger Gold. Wood Foundation, Dragon Blood Tree Heart. Earth Foundation, Earth Vein Marrow. Water Foundation, Profound Een Ice Marrow. Fire Foundation, Dark Flame Crystal. These 5 foundations, all superior grade profound grade treasures, would cost at least 10,000 low-grade spirit stones if bought. Shinemo looked at the 5 floating treasures before him, a joyful smile on his face. He knew very well that without the life panel and intercepting opportunities, it would have been impossible to gather them in such a short time to build the Dao Foundation. Shinemo began refining the 5 treasures simultaneously. The distinct spiritual energies of the 5 treasures began to emit and quickly converted into spiritual energy within Shinmo's body through his spiritual energy vortex. Deep within the spiritual energy vortex, the 5 types of spiritual energy began to settle and condense. A small platform slowly took shape. It seemed as if an invisible hammer of destiny was forging a flawless Dao foundation. Chapter 27. Ding, ding, ding. A faint, crisp knocking sound resonated from within Shinmo's body. Each knock echoed deep within his mind and soul. Shinemo kept his eyes tightly shut, continuously circulating the Inferno Hell Annihilation Manual with each moment of forging. His breath rotated, condensed, and sublimated bit by bit. Transitioning from the Qi condensation realm to the Foundation establishment realm is a qualitative leap, a transformation, a rebirth. 3 days later, above the spiritual energy vortex, the Tao Foundation had fully formed. The platform, infused with the 5 elements and 5 colors, was radiant and flawless. It was a masterpiece, as if the grandest creation of heaven and earth. The moment the Tao Foundation fully formed, it suddenly pressed down on the spiritual energy vortex. Like the weighty mountain descending from the sky, boom. The spiritual energy vortex was subjected to immense pressure. The spiritual energy within it immediately began to compress. The lowest layer of spiritual energy was the first to change. It started to transform from a gaseous state to a liquid state. This process was long and tedious. Another 3 days passed. The first drop of liquid spiritual energy appeared. Its appearance was like the prelude to a downpour after the clouds part. All the gaseous spiritual energy stored within the vortex rapidly converted to liquid spiritual energy, second drop, third drop, fourth drop, until the spiritual energy vortex completely disappeared, transforming into a small pool. The pool shimmered about the size of a spring. The weighty Tao Foundation now floated above the pool like a wooden boat. At that moment, Shin Emo suddenly opened his eyes, boom. An astonishing aura burst forth like the rising sun. The surrounding dust was blown away, pushing out of the courtyard. Within a 10-meter radius around Shin Emo, there wasn't a speck of dust. He finally showed a look of joy. This is the Foundation establishment realm. He felt the liquid spiritual energy in his dantian and was overjoyed. Shin Emo picked up the Thunder Sword and used the Thunder Shadow Sword technique on a wooden stake in the yard. Boom. A flash of lightning and sword light passed by. The wooden stake exploded into hundreds of pieces. Shin Emo was even more satisfied. This wooden stake had been specially made for him. It was made of ironwood, extremely hard. Only a Foundation establishment realm cultivator could break it. Just this piece of ironwood alone cost 30 low-grade spirit stones. Ordinary cultivators couldn't afford such a luxury. But now, as a disciple of the sect master, Shin Emo had a small fortune. If the stake broke, it broke. Knowing his current strength was worth it, Shin Emo looked at his life panel. Nothing else had changed, but under his fate, a new entry appeared. Fortune blessed temporary. This had appeared after he became Morong Yu's disciple. As he continued reading, he discovered a new opportunity. Recent opportunity. Go to the mountaintop courtyard of Qingxian sect to meet your master Morong Yu, revealing that you have forged a perfect Tao Foundation platform. Morong Yu, delighted, will reward you with abundant cultivation resources and grant you special access to the Qingxian cave. Shin Emo chuckled to himself. He had intended to go see Morong Yu immediately, having forged a perfect Tao Foundation platform and entered the Foundation establishment realm. This was great news to share with his master first. Learning of this would undoubtedly make Morong Yu treasure him even more. His safety would be further ensured. Qingxian cave? What kind of place is that? I've never heard of it before. With curiosity, Shin Emo headed straight to the mountaintop courtyard. Along the way, he saw disciples with joyful expressions, excitedly discussing various news. Shin Emo casually grabbed a disciple to inquire. Upon realizing it was him, the disciple didn't dare show the slightest impatience and answered truthfully. After getting the information, Shin Emo let him go. A lot has happened in the past few days while I was breaking through. Zhao Ting and Luo Xingnan's families encountered issues, forcing them to leave the sect and return home. Qingxian Cave showed signs of opening early yesterday. It's a rare cave that opens once every 50 years, where the spiritual energy has condensed into liquid droplets. Cultivating inside for a day is equivalent to consuming 10 bottles of Foundation stabilizing pills. Shin Emo clicked his tongue in amazement. Foundation stabilizing pills are low-grade Shin-level pills that stabilize the Tao Foundation. Foundation establishment cultivators use these pills, and the more they consume, the faster their realm improves. Only Foundation establishment cultivators can enter Qingxian Cave. Those below the Foundation establishment realm would explode and die upon entering. And there isn't much spiritual liquid inside, so older, potential exhausted Foundation establishment cultivators aren't eligible to enter. This means only the 4 true disciples can enter Qingxian Cave. At such a crucial time, Zhao Ting and Luo Xingnan's families encountered problems, forcing them to leave. If there isn't some manipulation behind this, it would be truly strange. It seems Morong Yu must be worried about this as well. Shinemo quickened his pace and arrived at the mountaintop courtyard today. Morongyu was dressed in a gradient blue-purple tight-fitting palace dress, with pleated skirts falling to her calves, exposing her fair and slender legs and ankles, however. Compared to their last meeting, Morongyu's brows were furrowed with even more worry. She didn't even notice Shinmo's arrival and was muttering to herself, "The early opening of Qingxian Cave should be good news. But why is this happening? Luo Xingnan's father is critically ill. She left for home 3 days ago, missing the opportunity to enter Qingxian Cave. Zhao Ting's family is under attack from hostile forces, forcing him to leave the sect and return home. Now, only Lu Yunxian and Song Junjie can enter Qingxian Cave. But they... Sigh, if only Shinemo were in the Foundation establishment realm." Shinemo scratched his head and called out repeatedly, "Master? Master?" Morongyu hadn't expected anyone to overhear her muttering. Shinmo's sudden voice startled her. Seeing it was her beloved disciple, she calmed down. Morongyu, with a stern face, said, "Don't scare me like that again." Shinemo couldn't help but laugh. "I didn't mean to scare you. What brings you here today? If it's nothing important, I will surely reprimand you." Morongyu's face turned even more serious. Seeing her expression, Shinemo guessed her thoughts and smiled knowingly. As the sect master of Qixuan's sect, Morongyu had never lost her composure in front of others. This time, she lost her composure in front of her disciple. She surely wanted to find an excuse to discipline him to maintain her authority as a master. "Too bad, this time you won't get to punish me and you might even lose your composure again." Shinemo chuckled inwardly and said, "Master, I have forged a perfect Tao Foundation platform and entered the Foundation establishment realm." Morongyu looked completely incredulous. "Impossible. I just gave you the Dark Flame Crystal 6 days ago. How could you have collected the other 4 superior-grade Xian-level treasures in just 6 days? After saying this, she seemed to realize something and comforted, "I know you want to ease my worries, but don't use such means. I've always disliked liars." Shinemo didn't explain and just looked at her. Seeing no panic on her disciple's face, Morongyu was taken aback. Could it be true? She quickly extended her hand to check Shinmo's lower abdomen. Her cold hand suddenly pressing against his firm abs made him let out a low, muffled sound. Morongyu asked, What's wrong?" Shinemo struggled for a moment before replying, "Master's hand is too cold." Chapter 28. Morongyu nodded and said nothing more. Her cool, smooth hand moved up and down, carefully channeling spiritual energy into Shinmo's lower abdomen to sense his spiritual energy. Before long, she indeed detected the presence of a perfect Tao Foundation platform and liquid spiritual energy. Morongyu opened her mouth in shock and finally spoke after a long pause, "You truly have reached the Foundation establishment realm." After the shock came immense joy. Morongyu waved her hand and a large number of pills and spirit stones appeared from her storage ring, landing beside Shinemo. "I bestow upon you 10 bottles of Foundation stabilizing pills to aid your Foundation establishment cultivation, 300 medium-grade spirit stones, and 2 high-grade profound-grade spiritual weapons. These are your rewards." The array of treasures filled with spiritual energy dazzled Shinemo. He quickly stored them all in his storage ring. "Good things are always welcome." Shinemo nodded. "Earlier, I heard that Master seemed troubled?" Morongyu's eyes lit up with excitement. "Yes. Now that you have reached the Foundation establishment realm, you can enter Qingxian Cave. Follow me. I will immediately convene a meeting with the elders." As she spoke, Shinemo felt a fragrant breeze sweep past him, and the next moment he was flying through the clouds. Beside him was Morongyu's soft, cool body. "I'm flying." Shinemo looked down at the ground, his eyes wide open. This feeling was too wonderful. No wonder mortals desire to become immortals, free to roam the heavens and earth in a few breaths. Morongyu landed with him at the entrance of the grand hall halfway up the mountain. The disciples passing by were stunned. They stared intently at Morongyu and Shinemo. In the past, Morongyu had been in seclusion for years, so many disciples didn't know who the sect master was. But yesterday, Morongyu had just held a meeting, so many disciples now knew that the mature and beautiful woman was their sect master, Morongyu. Today, Morongyu appeared again, and there was a disciple with her? The disciples immediately began whispering among themselves, "Who is that male disciple? He's quite handsome. The sect master seems to value him a lot. I saw them flying down from the mountaintop." "You don't know him? That's Shinemo, the one who defeated Lei Xiaojun. He's really strong. Some even say he's a strong contender for the 5th true disciple position." Get real. Recently, it was rumored that our sect has a heavenly physique disciple who wasn't even made a true disciple. Why would Shin Mo be chosen just because he's handsome? Shin Mo heard the disciples' discussions below and couldn't help but smile wryly. At that moment, he saw Morong Yu flick her finger. A strand of spiritual energy shot out, striking the large bronze bell at the entrance of the grand hall. Dong, dong, dong. The ethereal sound of the bell echoed through Qingxian's sect. This was the signal for the sect master to convene a meeting. No matter what they were doing, all elders of Qingxian's sect had to immediately drop everything and rush to the grand hall. The disciples, however, were puzzled. Hadn't there been a meeting just yesterday about Qingxian Cave's early opening? Why were all the elders being called again today? The disciples' discussions grew louder. Meanwhile, Morong Yu had already led Shin Mo into the Grand Hall Cloud Mist Peak. This was where Vice Sect Master Lu Yuanfeng lived. His son Lu Yunxian and several of his disciples also resided here at this moment. Lu Yuanfeng was playing chess with Lu Yunxian. Father held the black pieces. Son held the white on the chessboard. The Black Knight was fiercely attacking the white formation. Unless a miracle move was made, there was almost no chance for the white pieces to turn the game around. Lu Yunxian acknowledged, "Father, your chess skills are becoming more refined. I am far inferior." Lu Yuanfeng laughed heartily. Feeling pleased, Lu Yunxian joined in the laughter. "Father, you seem particularly happy today. Have you made progress in your cultivation?" Lu Yuanfeng's laughter grew louder. "Yes, I have a premonition that within 2 years, I might reach the peak of the core formation realm. That's wonderful news. If you can break through to the peak of the core formation realm early, our plans can—" Lu Yunxian exclaimed excitedly. Lu Yuanfeng glared at him. Realizing his mistake, Lu Yunxian quickly shut his mouth. "Sorry, father. I got too excited. No matter. There's no one around to hear, but you must keep your mouth shut in public." Lu Yuanfeng sipped his tea calmly. "Right now, we haven't completely sidelined Morong Yu. Once we do, you can say whatever you like." Lu Yunxian chuckled and then asked, "Father, is Qingxian Cave really that important? Why did you have to use your connections to force Zhao Ting and Luo Xingnan to leave?" Lu Yuanfeng replied sternly, "Do you know why it is opening early? It's because a great treasure is about to be born." This crucial information came from a divination by an old friend of mine at Heavenly Secrets Sect. Remember, no matter what treasure is in Qingxian Cave, you must be the first to get it. Even though Song Chaofeng and I are temporary allies, his son must not get that treasure. "Yes, I will not fail you," Lu Yunxian replied with excitement. Dong, dong, dong. At this moment, the sound of the bell echoed. Both men furrowed their brows. "Father, Morong Yu is convening a meeting of the elders," Lu Yunxian said in a low voice. Lu Yuanfeng's brows furrowed deeply, but he quickly composed himself. "Humph, that indecisive woman has no cards left to play. I want to see why she is convening the elders." On the other side, the conversation between the Qingxian sect's Grand Elder, Song Chaofeng, and his son, Song Junjie, was almost identical to that between Lu Yuanfeng and Lu Yunxian. However, Song Chaofeng also wanted his son to firmly grasp the treasure in Qingxian Cave and not let it fall into Lu Yunxuan's hands. The sudden bell also took Song Chaofeng by surprise. "Father, could there be any unexpected developments?" Song Junjie couldn't help but ask. Song Chaofeng sneered. "What unexpected developments could there be? Qingxian sect, including Morong Yu, has a total of 12 core formation realm cultivators, but 6 of them are already on our side. Her means of retaliation are dwindling," he said blandly. "This meeting is likely just for her to vent her frustrations." The Qingxian Grand Hall. This is the most luxurious hall in Qingxian sect. It is usually kept tightly closed. It only opens for major meetings or significant ceremonies. However, in the past 2 days, Sect Master Morong Yu had already held 2 meetings. Therefore, this usually unnoticed grand hall had now drawn the attention of many disciples. Whoosh, 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 streams of light appeared from various directions. Landing in front of the hall, some elders even flew back from the Qingsong Mountains, hurrying to the hall. Soon, all 12 core formation realm cultivators, including Murongyu, Lu Yuanfeng, and Song Chufeng, gathered. The grand hall doors slammed shut. The disciples outside were chattering, speculating about the topic of this meeting. Inside the hall, it exploded into an uproar after Murongyu made an announcement. What? This disciple has reached the foundation establishment realm. Song Chufeng exclaimed in shock. Lu Yuanfeng's face darkened as he stared at Shen Mo, saying nothing. The other elders had various reactions, but without exception, all were stunned. Seeing their shock, a barely perceptible smug smile appeared on Murongyu's lips. Then she dropped an even bigger bombshell. Shen Mo not only reached the foundation establishment realm but has also forged a perfect Dao foundation. As she said this, the 3 elders who had always supported Murongyu were ecstatic, rushing to Shen Mo's side. Sect Master, is this true? A perfect Dao foundation. Elderly, who was quite elderly, had tears in his eyes. Everyone knew how to forge a perfect Dao foundation platform, but it required both wealth and luck. The 5 superior grade, profound grade treasures were not something money alone could buy. Among everyone present, only Murongyu had a perfect Dao foundation platform. She managed it because her master, the former sect master, had devoted all resources to her cultivation. Now, another perfect Dao foundation platform had emerged. As staunch supporters of Murongyu, they couldn't be happier. This meant Murongyu had a worthy successor. Chapter 29. Elderly excitedly extended his hand. Let me feel it. Is it really a perfect Dao foundation? The elder next to him was also overjoyed. Let me feel it too. Shen Mo had been smiling happily, but he immediately froze upon hearing this. It was one thing for Murongyu to touch, but you guys too. At this moment, Lu Yuanfeng suddenly said, I do not doubt the sect master's discernment, but I am concerned that in her excitement, she may have made an error in judgment. Therefore, I would like to verify it personally. Song Chufeng nodded. I feel the same way. Both men stood up and approached Shen Mo. Shen Mo immediately became alert. These two might not really want to feel the foundation. They could have some ulterior motives. Master, help. A fragrant breeze swept by. Murongyu's graceful figure stood in front of him. My disciple is very important to me. I am worried that during your examination you might inadvertently cause harm. Please sit down. Murongyu's beautiful eyes were fixed intently on them. Lu Yuanfeng and Song Chufeng remained silent for a moment before smiling amiably. The sect master overthinks. Everything I do is for the benefit of the sect. How could I harm your disciple? Lu Yuanfeng waved his hand. Song Chufeng added, I always prioritize the sect's interests. I am delighted that the Qingxian sect has such a talented disciple and would never harm him. Sect master, your concern saddens me. After speaking, both sat back down. Murongyu then coldly snorted and sat back down, pulling Shen Missouri close to her. Almost protectively, Shen Mo felt a warmth in his heart. My master is so good. Did the sect master convene us just to discuss this? It seems a bit of a waste of our valuable time. An elder suddenly spoke up. Murongyu glanced at him. This elder was a staunch supporter of Lu Yuanfeng, clearly speaking on his behalf. Not only that. Murongyu looked around and said deliberately, Qingxian Cave has opened. According to the ancestral rules, only disciples who have reached the foundation establishment realm and possess exceptional talent may enter. Today, my disciple Shen Mo has also reached the foundation establishment realm, so he should enter Qingxian Cave. Her voice echoed through the grand hall, ringing in every elder's ears. The elders' expressions changed subtly. Exchanging glances with each other, Shen Mo also smiled inwardly. My beautiful master has some strategy. There were 12 core formation realm cultivators present, including Murongyu and Lu Yuanfeng, which left 10 elders. Among these 10 elders, some were staunch supporters of Lu Yuanfeng and Song Chaofeng. Some were firm supporters of Murongyu, and some were fence-sitters. Undecided. Murongyu's announcement about Shen Mo's perfect Dao foundation and entry into the foundation establishment realm was a move to win over these undecided elders. She was sending a message. The sect master's disciple is the legitimate successor. Moreover, her disciple possessed a heavenly physique, a perfect Dao foundation, and had reached the foundation establishment realm at 17. His talent and potential were undoubtedly the best among all Qingxian sect disciples. Lu Yuanfeng and Song Chaofeng's expressions grew increasingly grim. It was clear that Murongyu's sudden second meeting was all about Qingxian Cave, however. With Shinemo suddenly reaching the Foundation establishment realm, they couldn't think of a reasonable way to obstruct him if given more time. They could have forced him, like they did with Zhao Ting and Luo Xingnan, to choose between his future and his family, forcing him to leave Qingxian's sect at this critical moment. But now there was no room for maneuver. The only option left was to call for a vote. After all, they had more elders on their side. They could offer more benefits to the two undecided elders. Lu Yuanfeng gave Song Chaofeng a look. Song Chaofeng cleared his throat. Ready to speak, Morongyu spoke loudly and clearly. I did not convene this meeting to discuss with the elders. This is an announcement. My disciple deserves such a privilege. Tomorrow, Shinemo, Lu Yunxian, and Song Junjie will be the selected disciples to enter Qingxian Cave. Meeting adjourned. With that, she waved her wide sleeves and left with Shinemo. This left Song Chaofeng and Lu Yuanfeng, who had been about to speak, looking at each other in frustration. The elderly chuckled. Vice Sect Master, Grand Elder. This meeting wasn't to decide Shinemo as the fifth true disciple, so there was no need for a vote. The selection for Qingxian Cave only needs to meet the conditions. The Sect Master's word is enough to decide. Don't forget who the Sect Master of Qingxian Sect is. She let out a cold laugh and turned to leave. The other elders who firmly supported Morongyu also left with him soon. Only Lu Yuanfeng, Song Chaofeng, and their staunch supporters remained in the Grand Hall. Elder Song, the treasure in Qingxian Cave must not fall into Shenmo's hands. Lu Yuanfeng said calmly. Song Chaofeng snorted. I know, you don't need to remind me. Junjie has always been lucky. That treasure will naturally be his. Lu Yuanfeng stood up slowly and said, What I mean is that, if necessary, we can use some less honorable methods. Song Chaofeng's eyes sharpened as he grasped his meaning. Mountaintop courtyard. Morongyu and Shinemo landed gently. The voluptuous beauty seemed a bit tired and went straight to her desk to sit down, resting her heavy chest on the table. No need to be formal, have a seat. Morongyu waved her hand. Shinemo nodded and found a chair to sit in. Morongyu tapped the table lightly for a while before speaking in a serious tone. After you enter Qingxian Cave tomorrow, the cave will be sealed for 3 months. We will have no knowledge of what happens inside, so be cautious. Shinemo nodded slightly. He wasn't too worried about Song Junjie both being at the entry level of the Foundation establishment realm. He had the advantage of cultivating a heavenly level technique, possessing a heavenly physique, and having forged a perfect Tao foundation, which meant his strength would surpass Song Junjie's. However, Lu Yunxian was at the major accomplishment stage of the Foundation establishment realm. The difference was significant in a head-to-head fight. Shinemo believed he could ensure his survival but couldn't defeat Lu Yunxian. Morongyu saw his concern and smiled faintly. Don't worry, with the communication stone I gave you, he can't kill you. Moreover, Lu Yuanfeng and Song Chaofeng are so anxious, even using underhanded methods to force Zhao Ting and Luo Sheng'an to return home. It must be because something significant has emerged in the deepest part of Qingxian Cave. If you obtain that item, Lu Yunxian won't be your match. Shinmo's curiosity was piqued. What could possibly give him the ability to counter someone 2 minor realms above him? Morongyu's eyes gleamed with longing and eternal flame. In the deepest part of Qingxian Cave, there's a red lotus flame that has been absorbing underground fire energy for many years. She continued, the power of an eternal flame is incredibly strong. Once it attaches to an attack, it can multiply its power several times over. You possess the supreme heavenly physique, the scorching sun flame body. This fire attribute physique is the most suitable for taming the red lotus flame. While taming it, you will also absorb the rich spiritual energy of Qingxian Cave. With your talent, reaching the small achievement stage of the Foundation establishment realm in a short time is entirely possible. By then, with the red lotus flame, how could Lu Yunxian possibly be your opponent? Chapter 30. After Morongyu finished speaking, Shinmo's interest was piqued. Master, could you explain more about the eternal flame? I have never heard of it before, he asked eagerly. Morongyu smiled. Eternal flames are flames naturally born from heaven and earth. The attributes of eternal flames vary. Some can control minds, some are wildly explosive and can burn everything, some possess strange devouring abilities, some can turn water into ice, and some feed on lightning. There are a total of 49 types of eternal flames in the world, however, only those with great fortune can obtain them. Eternal flames don't have ranks but are listed on the eternal flame rankings. Generally, those ranked higher are more powerful. But this is not absolute. Even if the world's #1 eternal flame has just been born, it naturally cannot compare to an eternal flame that has been growing for many years. Shin-emo nodded repeatedly after hearing this. It seemed that eternal flames were indeed the most formidable things in the world. Murungyu smiled. I believe in you. With your scorching sun flame body, you are destined for the red lotus flame. You will surely tame that eternal flame. I will not disappoint, master. Shin-emo cupped his hands in respect. He was equally excited. If he could tame the red lotus flame, his combat power would undoubtedly skyrocket. The next day, all the disciples gathered at the deep pool of Qinxian's sect. The entrance to Qinxian Cave was behind the waterfall. This was something many disciples had not expected. The entrance to Qinxian Cave was currently shrouded in azure flames. These flames were extremely explosive and terrifying. Even core formation realm cultivators dared not approach. Murongyu, Lu Yuanfeng, and Song Qiaofeng channeled their spiritual energy, attacking the flames at the entrance. Their forces clashed. The power of the azure flames visibly weakened. Behind them stood Shin-emo, Lu Yunxian, and Song Junjie. These three were the chosen disciples to enter Qinxian Cave this time. Xiao Fan and Lu Fei stood among the crowd below. Xiao Fan made no effort to hide his envy and jealousy. I should be one of those standing there. A fierce beast seemed to roar within his heart. Lu Fei noticed his mood and quickly comforted him. Brother Xiao Fan, you are always the best in my heart. Missing Qinxian Cave is nothing. My father can provide you with many other cultivation resources. Xiao Fan forced a smile. He felt that he should be there, that he should be one of those entering Qinxian Cave to cultivate, yet, somehow, he had become just a spectator. It felt as if his place had been taken by someone else, perhaps. Luck truly isn't on my side, Xiao Fan thought, his eyes dimming. Am I really a genius? Am I truly favored by fortune? Shin-emo glanced at the despondent Xiao Fan in the crowd. His expression calm. The first time he had seen Xiao Fan's life panel indeed showed that he would enter Qinxian Cave in the future, and it was Xiao Fan who was supposed to tame the red lotus flame. However, Xiao Fan's heaven-grade technique and heavenly physique were intercepted by Shin-emo. As a result, Xiao Fan's cultivation had slowed significantly. He hadn't reached the foundation establishment realm before Qinxian Cave opened and was still only at the peak of the qi condensation realm. Therefore, he wasn't chosen to enter Qinxian Cave. Fate was easily altered. A slight nudge could lead to a completely different life path. Shin-emo no longer paid attention to Xiao Fan and instead checked his life panel. Name, Shin-emo realm. Entry-level foundation establishment. Fate, son of an apothecary, innate wisdom, sword Dao enthusiast, slightly lucky, scorching sun, fiery body destiny, ultimately cultivates to the peak of the foundation establishment realm. 5 years later, dies. During the Divine Sword sect's attack on Qinxian sect, recent opportunity. Today, enters Qinxian Cave for cultivation. Recent turn 1. A month later, while cultivating in Qinxian Cave, gets severely injured by Lu Yunxian, who has tamed the red lotus flame. No progress in realm. Recent turn 2. A month and a half later, upon leaving Qinxian Cave, gets framed by Lu Yunxian, who claims that Shin-emo caused Song Junjie's death this morning. Shin-emo woke up and saw these two pieces of information. Feeling quite helpless, it seemed that his luck was still lacking a bit. The red lotus flame would definitely be found by Lu Yunxian first. He wondered what method Lu Yunxian used to tame that violent eternal flame. Shin-emo quickly glanced at Lu Yunxian. Name, Lu Yunxian realm, major achievement stage of foundation establishment realm. Fate, great fortune, handsome and graceful, avoids danger, smooth sailing, lesser in profound ice body destiny. Reaches the peak of the core formation realm and becomes an inner elder of the Divine Sword sect. 40 years later, while attempting to seize a supreme earth-level treasure, he is besieged by 3 core formation realm cultivators. Hidden injuries and external wounds flare up, and he is killed by the 3. Recent opportunity 1. Today, gains entry to Qinxian Cave for cultivation. Recent opportunity 2. 1 month later, with the help of the eternal flame crystal provided by his father Lu Yuanfeng, he finds the red lotus flame in the 4th deep cave of Qinxian Cave and barely tames it, greatly increasing his strength but leaving him with hidden internal injuries. Eternal flame crystal? I've never heard of it, but it sounds similar to the dark flame crystal. It must be something very important for taming an eternal flame, that's why he could find and tame it so quickly. My guess was right, he could only barely tame it. After all, his physique is ice attribute, more suitable for taming ice attribute eternal flames, while the red lotus flame is a pure fire attribute eternal flame. Shin Emo pondered and then looked at the unlucky Song Junjie name, Song Junjie realm, entry-level foundation establishment fate, incredible luck, handsome appearance, master of swords and blades, wind and thunder sword body destiny. 1 month later, finds the red lotus flame with the help of the eternal flame crystal, but discovers Lu Yunxian has beaten him to it. In an attempt to seize Lu Yunxuan's eternal flame, he is killed by Lu Yunxian. Recent opportunity. Today, gains entry to Qin Xian Cave for cultivation. Shen Emo shook his head. What an unlucky fellow, lacking strength and average luck, yet still wanting to seize the eternal flame. You'd be lucky if he didn't crush your skull. At this moment, Murongyu suddenly raised her eyebrows. Lu Yuanfeng and Song Chaofeng also noticed the azure flames beginning to weaken. All three of them breathed a sigh of relief. Using spiritual power directly to counter the azure flames and open the entrance was extremely exhausting. Even though all three were core formation realm cultivators, they couldn't sustain it for long. Murongyu immediately said, the flames at the entrance of Qin Xian Cave are about to disappear. You only have 30 breaths. 2 months later, I, the Vice Sect Master, and the Grand Elder will reopen the entrance together. Remember the time. If you miss the opportunity to come out, you will have to wait 50 years to get out. Shin Mo and the other two replied solemnly, understood. A few breaths later, the azure flames completely disappeared. The three of them lightly touched the ground and, like a gust of wind, rushed into Qin Xian Cave. After they entered, Murongyu and the other two stopped channeling their spiritual energy. The azure flames reappeared, sealing the entrance once again. Lu Yuanfeng suddenly chuckled. Sect Master, aren't you leaving? Murongyu directly sat cross-legged on the spot and said calmly, I will wait here for 2 months. Lu Yuanfeng and Song Chaofeng exchanged a glance and sneered inwardly before quickly leaving. Only Murongyu remained, quietly waiting.